Here's another powerful communication podcast from Comsteria. This is Colin Kelly. It's been a busy time for us with presentation skills training, quite a bit of media training and some crisis comms and some podcast editing as well for a couple of clients. Today I want to talk about the value of your archive. Every business that I know, to some extent, is in the content business. You know that you need content, written content, video, audio, whatever it might be, to populate social media, to bring internal comms to life, all sorts of situations where you want content. And a lot of businesses are waking up now to the fact that there's a real value in that content. It has a financial value to it because you might be able to exploit that content and push back on advertising and some of the other activities that you might need to get involved in. So content can really help a business drive particular business objectives. And often we get caught up in this cycle of having to create content from scratch. And if you look at, television and radio, people who have been working with content for decades, they understand that they don't always need to create things from scratch and that there's a great value in the archive. So particularly with an algorithmic driven social media landscape where you do some work, you put content out, a proportion of the audience sees it, and then that's it, it falls off. We need to make sure that we're really maximizing the value of that content. And first of all, recycling and repurposing it. So have a system at play where if you do an Instagram reel or you put something on YouTube, that gets sliced and diced across different formats, different versions of that it comes round again, maybe not exactly the same piece of content, but that it will be reused and that it will have a proper life cycle. Don't just put it up once, cross your fingers, and then write it off as a lesson learned. You need to evaluate that content. What value does it have? And where else can it be used, and when and how? The other thing that every business should exploit, and this is something Emma and I are really encouraging all our clients to think about, is the value of the archive. Now, the archive might include content that's never been published. So a lot of businesses will work with a photographer, or they'll shoot some video, or they'll make podcasts, and then they'll edit it, and there will be some stuff, probably quite a lot of stuff, that never sees the light of day. And often, we've seen people, take a note of that. Oh yeah, we'll do that. That'll be good. We'll do something with that one day. And then they get caught up and they forget and they never come back to it. It's really worthwhile trying to have some discipline around how you archive your content and then what you do with that archive. And there might be things that get created today that don't have much value right now, but in 3 months, 6 months, a year, 10 years, whatever it is, there might be a good time to put some of that material out there into the wider world. And so the first thing is to make absolutely sure that on the way in, everything's been correctly labelled. And it's much more efficient to do that in the moment that it's been created. Make sure it's labelled properly, make sure it's stored in the right place, make sure it's backed up. And that means you're going to have a really neat and tidy archive that is searchable, that's easy to manage, easy to work with, and that there's then a value to that. If the archive is so laborious that you need to wade through just mountains of stuff, and I've seen clients say, oh yeah, we've got something and I know it's in here somewhere, but they can't bear going through it to try and find it. That's not a useful, manageable archive. So when it's created, make sure you label it, make sure you tag it, have some sort of system, have a good, secure, accessible storage facility, but also a really secure offline backup or maybe even off-site backup that you can call on as well. You're probably going to want some of it in the cloud and some of it properly archived in the full traditional sense of the word, where it is stored away somewhere safe. But knowing what's there, knowing you can access it, being able to turn things around quickly and repurpose them, it's really going to make your life a lot easier. And that there can be some real gold in terms of the content in that archive. Go and look at if your business is old enough, what were you creating 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago? What did it look like? What have you got? And bring all that through and think about what could we do with that today. So just a few quick thoughts. You're not going to sort out your archive in 5 minutes, and it might be that you have to start putting all these good practices in place from today. And it's maybe a longer job, sort of maybe digitizing. Maybe stuff has to be digitized in the first place as well. But never write it off. There's a real value in the archive, but only if you know how to use it and manage it properly.